So let me start then. Uh, Good evening, everyone. My name is Ashwin Srivastav, and I represent Sapio Analytics. Sapio Umbrella is a brand entity of Sapio Analytics, which is working for solving problems of COVID-19. I will talk about what we are doing at Sapio Umbrella, why we are doing it, and how we are doing it. So to start off, what we'll do is that around 5 minutes I will take to explain these things, and I will request everyone to keep on adding their comments so that I will be able to address all of them at the end of the conversation from my side. So at Sapio Umbrella, what we realized is what is one of the biggest needs right now to solve the crisis that which we are facing right now, the COVID-19 crisis. According to our evaluation, decision making is something which is extremely complex, extremely multi-layered at this level right now. Uh, how to do, what kind of lockdown needs to be enforced at what level, in what areas, in what establishments, how to plan resources, in what manner should the resources be distributed, what is the kind of impact which various things are bringing are happening because of the COVID-19. There are so many areas which require significant and highly complex decision making today. And what we believe, truly believe, is that such decision making is not possible without the use of data. Data coming in from global models, global information, insights, and coming in from Indian contexts. Combining the two together, we need to be able to take decisions which can help us fight COVID-19 in the best possible manner. And that is exactly what we are doing at Sapio Umbrella. When we're talking about decisions, we're talking about decisions at various government levels. Decisions at the ward level, decisions at the district level, at the state level, at the top center level. At all these levels, it's extremely critical to be able to take extremely complex decisions driven by data. So at Sapio Umbrella, that's what we are trying to do. We are trying to create a decision support system that can help government bodies at all the levels take decisions with respect to what is happening right now, with respect to what is going to happen probably in the next few weeks, months, and after that as well, related to the situation, the crisis which we are facing right now. It's very critical to be able to take these decisions using data. We have a team of approximately more than 100 experts who are allowing us, helping us in our process of helping being able to create these decisions. We have got data scientists, data analysts from amazing colleges, senior experts as well in the field of data modeling, mathematicians. We have got epidemiologists, we have got molecular biologists, we have got domain experts in our team as well, experts who understand impact planning, disaster management, economic impact, social impact. We have got medical professionals, we have got a number of researchers and innovators. Together, all of us have come together to be able to create this unique decision support system. Now, what I will do is I will talk a little bit more about what really this decision support system is all about and how we have been able to create a few products out of the work which we have done till now. I believe some more people are joining in right now. Please keep on joining in. I'll keep on introducing myself. Those who have joined new, I'll keep on introducing myself regularly if needed. So I was talking about, that's why I'll be repeating a few things, by the way. So I was talking about the decision support system, that what we have created at Sapio Umbrella and what we are creating, and the kind of impact we make on the entire COVID-19 situation. So let's talk about one of our core products which is out there already and which we have already submitted to the MCGM Mumbai, which is using certain recommendations out of it. This particular product basically is able to predict the current spread of COVID-19 to a reasonably accurate level. Using that prediction of spread, it can also talk about how the potential spread will happen over time. Using all of that knowledge, it's able to recommend what kind of lockdown, what kind of isolation needs to be planned on a local level. For example, it can suggest that Dharavi needs to have this much amount of lockdown in these many areas in this particular manner. And try to understand this. Currently, all of us are in lockdown, but few days from now, few weeks from now, things will start changing. We will need to have a structured lockdown. We will need to start withdrawing lockdowns as well. At that time, it will become very critical to know how many establishments, how many schools, how many colleges, uh, shops, malls needs to be, let's say, closed or be at lockdown, at what level, at what time. This level of complex decision making is extremely critical for us to control COVID-19 and have minimum impact from it. So this system can recommend that. It can suggest you suggest the government bodies how, in what manner can a particular lockdown be planned across establishments, across public transport, across a number of areas. Now, that is the first version which has already been created. Simultaneously, we are working on something even more interesting. We are talking about the kind of impact all of this is creating. We are understanding the economic impact and the social impact, the impact on livelihood. And we are, based on that impact planning, apart from suggesting decisions with respect to lockdown, we are also providing decisions with respect to how to work on those impacts, how to ensure livelihood, how to ensure essential services reach the right people, how to optimize the resource planning, how to optimize the medical services planning. All of that is extremely complex and it has to be understood at a hyper local level. We have been able to create a system that can do that. And also, we're also working on, kind of implementing lots of new things in that system. So by using this, what we expect is that if governments at different levels start using it, the problem which we are facing right now with respect to what call needs to be taken in what area can be solved to a great extent, and it should be able to control the impact of COVID-19 across spectrums in a big way. This is what we are doing, and that's why all these experts across the entire range is there, so that we can give the government exact right solutions for being able to solve this. So out of this entire DSS, the decision support system which we have created, we have also been able to create something interesting out of it, which is another very important need of today. What is happening right now is that we are not really aware of what is the current situation, current spread of COVID-19 in India. We do not know exactly because the amount of testing which has been done is quite limited. Not knowing the extent of the problem is so critical that it's actually not allowing a number of decisions to be taken. If we know exactly, to a great extent, okay, this is the amount of COVID-19 in one particular area, lots of plans can be made around it. The solutions will be better, the resource planning would be much better. We are not able to do it. Why? Because the current testing kits are quite limited. That's why what we have created is that we have created an algorithm, or rather I would say a combination of algorithms, which can suggest uh, particular ways in which limited number of testing kits can be used to actually test large number of people. So basically do mass testing using very few kits. Now this is something which which is typically called pooling of samples. So we are working on this pooling of samples, but and I believe countries like Germany and Israel have already started using it. But what we have done is extremely critical here. What we know is that our earlier system, which I talked about, is able to provide the government predictions. Using that predictions, using the amount of spread which we think, the probable number of cases, we can design an algorithm which is adaptive in nature, which can improve based on the results which are coming in, and be able to provide the best possible method of doing mass testing with limited number of kits. I will love to take questions on this because this is a very complex thing, and I would love to take questions on this. I've already taken 10 minutes, so I will take I'll answer some of these questions around both the decision support system and this unique mass testing algorithm which we have created, which can actually allow India to do mass testing across the country with the current resources of testing kits it has. And this will definitely help us significantly in our fight against COVID-19. So I will love to take questions on both these aspects. To start off, I can see so Pradeep has asked a question which mentions, want to understand how is this way of testing using algorithms different from existing methods. So existing methods being used by Germany and being used by let's say Israel to some extent is there already out there, but our algorithm is able to first take into account a region level probability of actual cases, the probable cases which are out there. So for example, the algorithm will work slightly differently when it comes to a region like Dharavi versus a region like Andheri in Mumbai versus a region like, let's say, a rural area in UP or something in Delhi. So it's designed to suit the hyper local environment. It's designed to support that local environment. Why and how? Because it's able to take the probable cases data from that environment and use that to make the entire plan of how to move ahead with the entire mass testing process. For example, we need to know the sensitivity, we need to know how the dilution is happening. All those factors become very critical in understanding how the mass testing needs to be applied, and all of that comes from local level data, which is what our DSS is able to provide us. So we use that data and we use a series of algorithms which uses input points from these data, make certain changes, adapts depending on the data which is coming in, and is able to provide solutions on a local level in terms of how mass testing should be done in all these local levels. I can see some more questions out there. I'll quickly scroll through some questions. I can see the questions. Okay. Practical sense, how will this, for instance, be useful? Can you explain in layman terms? Yes, I will explain that. So let's say mass testing is needed, and we have got, let's say we have to test 10 lakh people. There are 10 lakh people in Dharavi, and we have to test, find out what is the situation over there. And for that, we need to do mass testing, and we have got limited number of kits. We do not have 10 lakh kits available only for Dharavi. So what we will do is that we'll first come up with a sample. That sample will be divided into a number of batches. Let's say, for the sake of example, those nose swab samples will be taken into batches of 32 each, let's say. And then testing will be done on those pooled samples. Now, results will come out of those pooled samples. So what has happened is that instead of testing it for, let's say, 10 lakh people, what I have done is that I have tested for a very less number of people, and that has allowed us to reject and remove those cases which are clear, and then focus only on those cases which are showing positive, and then it keeps on changing accordingly. So this is how typically, in a very layman way, it works. It uses the concept of basic statistical modeling out here. But let me add it here. The way in which we have created this entire model also uses inputs from practical way of implementing these things. So we are able to bring in that practical implementation knowledge in creating these algorithms, which is not probably the case in most of the algos which are out being used or being talked about right now, because maths only remains talks until it is used in a practical scenario, and we have been able to bring in the practical scenario together as well. So I hope that kind of clears to some extent what Leela Keshavji has asked, in a layman way. We have been able to do this pooling thing. Pradeep has also asked, please explain the probability factor of the success in testing this way. So the way it has been designed till now, and considering the PCR testing is able to give accurate results today, so the idea is that this entire algorithm will give exact amount of testing results like the way PCR testing gives you, which means the probability will be as good as PCR testing, which is almost 100%. If we use the entire algorithm in the way we have designed it, so we should be able to reach to that level. Just to clarify, I know dilution is a very critical factor, and dilution leads to the results coming out in a different way. So that for that exact reason, we'll have to, though there's a plan, if the people who take the samples are able to use the mixing in a particular manner, they will be able to ensure that dilution is not a problem. But if there is human error, then we have taken those human errors into consideration as well in the algorithm to figure out the sensitivity and ensure that still the results are being able to give the correct answers out there. So almost as good as any PCR testing done on individual cases is what we expect the algorithm to be able to do. And we want to start off with a pilot here. Let's say we start off with a pilot in certain cases. It will get implemented. There'll be lots of results coming out of that. That will be used to further improve the algorithm and increase the chances of the testing being correct even further. Number of sample versus how it's going to be useful for mass can give some idea how much impact this can create. Okay, very good question, Amitabh. So let me explain. So what is happening right now is that without a doubt, there's a very high chance that there are a large number of asymptomatic cases out there. People who are not showing symptoms but are carriers of the virus. So what this is leading to is that there's a lack of correct knowledge as to how many people have virus. Now, let's say these people go out in the system tomorrow, assuming that they do not have anything, lockdown gets reduced, and then that means that the virus will not be able to go away. It will keep on coming back. It's like extremely critical, I would say hypercritical today for the government at all levels to start doing mass testing using the importance of the algorithms which we are talking about. I mean, mass testing is needed without a doubt. If we had, let's say, 1 billion test kits, then mass testing through 1 million test kits would have been the best possible option. But that's not the way to go, because we have got a much better way to use less number of test kits and still do mass testing. So the impact is significant. In terms of how much impact this can create, the answer is that this is exactly what is lying between us and defeating COVID-19. If we do mass testing, we will have so much of information that we can defeat COVID-19 in a much better way. So yes, that's the kind of importance which this algorithm has in terms of mass testing. Let me see a few more questions. Okay, so yeah, I think we are already 20 minutes into it, so probably we'll close it soon. How is the government responding to the DCS, DSS systems? Yes, so we are mandated by Mumbai to basically work on an impact layer. So DSS related to the impact. For example, let's say, just to give everyone an idea, people have been staying at home for a long time now. They have been using water supply in a big way, which means if we have an understanding of how water supply happens in Mumbai, there is a high chance that we may have some water problems also coming in the next few months. So that's a small example of impact which is happening based on what is the situation. All those things need to be first understood, brought in through data in one place, and then combined to give certain decisions, to recommend certain decisions. That's what we are doing in Mumbai. We are partnered with the UPICO as well in UP government, and planning to work there as well. And we are in touch with a number of government bodies in India for our DSS system. If there are any more questions, I will take those, and then we can basically choose to close the session. Someone has asked about Dharavi. Obviously, I will not give our predictions publicly like in this manner because of multiple reasons. But one thing is for sure that like every high density area out there in India, places like Dharavi need special attention. And it's, I know, as I mentioned, critical to do mass testing over there and have specific, very specific decision making plans for these areas, which is exactly what our systems are able to do. Let me look at other questions quickly. We can have questions and we can also have any comments. As possible, I would love to explain it on my side. Nicole has asked, has machine learning been used for modeling to predict if a person have a disease or not? Or is the data required for this still limited and researchers still working on collecting data? So to the answer of Nicole, machine learning has been is being used to some extent in predictions, but at the end of the day, more than machine learning, much of the prediction today is based on data modeling, where we are using data points and figuring out as to which are all predictions, which are not really the kind of accurate suggestions which it can give. For example, it can give predictions in a particular area. It cannot say that whether one person has it or not. So that is definitely a limitation right now. Okay, sum up of the mission and objective. Yes, we will sum that up. We'll write it on our FB page very clearly. Our mission with respect to COVID-19 is to provide decisions to different levels of government, recommend them decisions based on data that spans the current situation, how to fight COVID-19, the prediction, the spread, enforcement of lockdowns, as well as impact and the future potential economic and social impact which can happen. So it spans the entire gamut of decision making is what we are doing over here. Is your initial focus just Bombay or is it being rolled out? Yes, Bombay. I am from Bombay. It's a city which I love. We started off with Bombay because this is the place which we want to save, and we were very worried about how Bombay can explode into something really dangerous because of the way it's structured. It's very high density place, but thanks to the way data has been adopted by the city, and we have to give thanks to the people who are managing the city here right now. They have been able to control it to a great extent. With respect to our plans, no, we started off with Bombay. We have to ensure what we are doing reaches out to every city, every village of India, and that's why we have got a lot of interest from the entire Maharashtra government. People have asked about it. Even lots of leaders have talked about getting it available to across Maharashtra, and we are ensuring that it is going to be across Maharashtra. But that is only from Maharashtra side. Simultaneously, we are in touch with all the other, various other state governments as well, and with the center to ensure that this reaches out to everyone. Okay. Pankaj, where is Pankaj? I could not get his question. I'm not able to see all the comments, it seems. Two questions: impact on the Indian economy, strategies to strengthen lockdowns. So this is exactly, Pankaj, what we are solving. And we will be giving this to the respective governments, the answer on what is the impact on the economy and what are the various strategies to strengthen lockdowns. And obviously that is something which we'll be providing directly to the government bodies. In terms of just quickly roughly answering you, strategies to strengthen lockdown is like, let's say 15-20 days from now, 30 days from now, there should be a plan. Let's say one region in one area should have X number of shops open at Y percentage of the time, and N number of schools open with M percentage of enforceability of the actual people working over there, something like that. So all those combinations is very much needed on a local level. It is exactly what we are providing in terms of strengthening lockdown in a better way. That is for Pankaj. In terms of impact on Indian economy, that is something which we will be providing the government, and we are constantly doing that. So we will answer that officially now. Okay, I can see some more questions. I will just ask our team if we want to no, close this now or have more. Let me just quickly check with them. One thing what the team will do is that send across the kits, the press releases to everyone who has been there today. That we will do for sure on our side. But additionally, let me just quickly request you guys to just wait for 30 more seconds and check with the team if we should continue. How do we address the challenge of data not being available from remote areas in different states where the internet? That's true. That's a big challenge. A large amount of places in India, data is not available. But that's what we are talking about. We are talking about being, let's say, what data are we talking about? We have got census data, we have got demographics data, we have got data of establishments, we have got data of people around the locations that is good enough to make certain predictions as to how the spread will happen. Now, that is good enough. Certain predictions, rough predictions. Now, the next step is to do mass testing. Both combined together, we have our solution. We know a situation exactly in all these areas, and that's what is needed right now. It's a very critical problem. People have gone from cities like Bombay, Delhi, back to their homes, rural areas where they do not have data. Do not have internet. It's very important for these cases that we do this mass testing using the certain elements of data which I mentioned, which is already available. So we don't need internet penetration to actually solve and understand what is really the situation, get some idea, and then implement the mass testing process. And rather, I would just to answer on Rita's question, that is something which I believe, honestly, we need to move into in a big way right now. Places like Bombay, Mumbai have been able to use a lot of data, do great work, but there are lots of places out there, small cities, small towns, villages, where we now need to get into in a big way. This decision making, which we are talking about, needs to happen at that level. It's very critical today, and that's the only way which we'll be able to solve something which can become catastrophic if we do not take the right decisions today. Thank you, Leela. Thank you, Pankaj. Yeah, thank you, Pradeep. Okay, I'll just take two few more minutes. If there are any more specific questions, we'll continue. Nicole has asked another question. Kerala is trying to its best to reduce the exponential effect of the spread of disease. Is there anything they have done doing different compared to Maharashtra, or is the population density the sole reason why spread of Maharashtra cannot be stopped? So let me explain. We have not studied the Kerala model, so we will not be able to, obviously explain the clear differences. But coming specifically to Maharashtra, there have been multiple challenges. I will talk about some of those things. We saw the entire manner in which the spread started in Maharashtra, in Bombay, and how people came in from travel in different places, and then it started spreading. The entire thing showed that Maharashtra would explode in a big way. Then the entire structured lockdown planning happened, which kind of controlled it to great extent. Places like Mumbai has got very high density. Major problem for the way all of us know who stays here that let's say in offices also, when people are sitting, they sit much closer to each other in Mumbai as compared to, let's say, any other city in the country. We all know this. It's a superly highly dense kind of place. So yes, the challenges are definitely very high in Mumbai with respect to that. And I will add on to the other challenges which has happened. For example, people spreading out of Mumbai to interiors without the mass testing happening. That happened around 1.5 2 weeks ago. So that will lead to more amount of problems happening in rural areas of Maharashtra. So these things happened. So which is definitely different from the situation of, what I understand, situation of Kerala to a great extent. Yeah. And another thing I would like to add quickly, now that is something which is based on some of the data points which we have received to Nicole's question, the number of asymptomatic cases. Due to certain reasons, you can see how the whole symptoms start showing. If, for example, uh, there is lack of comorbidity, which means you do not have a particular set of diseases, then very high chance. In some cases, we have seen the symptoms not really appearing in people. So all those challenges are, probably you can say additional in cities like Mumbai, where the construct of the demographics is such. So that element is also there, which means the challenges increase when it comes to being able to control the spread. Quickly checking other questions. I'll check my team as well if we are getting other questions from which I'm not able to see. Have we published our algorithm yet? That's a question I think when I'm not able to see. So yes, our algorithm, the first version is published, which is, I would say, a more simplified version of what can be done. With that version and with all the data-driven DSS results which we have, together we can begin a pilot in certain areas, and we should be able to use that then to identify how this should be taken across India. One more thing before yeah, I can see the question. I think I already answered Arpit what he had asked. So what we are doing right now when it comes to so much decision making using data, we are expanding this team of volunteers which we have as well. As I mentioned at the start of this conversation, some people joined later. Let me quickly tell you the kind of people who we have in our team at the moment. We have got data scientists, we have got data modelers, analysts, all those data geeks out there, and people from across the globe working with us in that sense. We have got the epidemiologists, the biologists, the medical professionals. That segment is also there to help us understand the practical implications of what we are planning with respect to data. That's also there. And then we have got the researchers, innovators who keep on coming with excellent research innovations, figuring out what is happening across the world. That section is also there. And then we have got an excellent set of domain experts, people who are experts, let's say, in economic impact, financial impact, people who understand the entire spectrum of disaster management. So that set of domain experts is also there. So we have got a very exciting team of people who are out there, which we want to keep on expanding, because we want this to go beyond 125 people working with us, and have ensure that every single part in India starts using data, be it the smallest level of panchayat to the topmost level, starts using data to understand what decisions need to be taken, at least take recommendations from data to be able to take those decisions. It's very critical. Today's world is so complex, so unclear out there, that data is needed to take decisions at all these levels, and that's why we need more and more experts in our team. No, and it's great to have so many experts in our team. There are lots of business leaders out there who have been working with us very strongly. So, okay, had this testing methodology been tested somewhere else in the world? Okay, I'll quickly. I think I mentioned that earlier, very briefly, but I believe people have been coming to this session over the last few minutes now as well. So yes, the concept of pooled algorithm, where you bring in a series of a number of samples together and then do testing on that, is being used in Germany right now. It has been tested that it works very well. uh, as far as my understanding goes, Israel has also accepted to use it. So yes, these two countries are doing it. As I mentioned, we need to learn from their models, and we need to bring in the Indian contexts together to be able to create the right algorithms at different levels, different regions of India. That's what we are doing. Thank you, Rita. So I'm not able to see all the comments, by the way. So I'm sorry if I've missed some of them, because somehow the Facebook Live works this way. It does not show all the comments. Okay, so let me close it now. We can keep on taking more comments. You can put it over there, and our team will be responding to those. Thanks everyone for coming and talking and listening to what we are doing. It's very important that we need all of your help to kind of ensure that this goes out there. Everyone knows about it. That the kind of problem which we are facing right now can only be solved, or rather say not only is a bigger word, but can be solved significantly with the help of data. Let's make this knowledge out there available to people, and let's have more and more people join us together to work on this. We have been working non-stop without sleeping, some of us not sleeping over the past few many days, and thanks to all these amazing people who have been doing this. I have to say these are the ones who have made what we have created till now possible. So thanks to them, and thanks to all of you for coming. We will close the session now.